Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are inducting 5 very deserving Hornell High School alumni student athletes. First up, Scott Jeffrey is a 1984 graduate of Hornell High School, where he earned 6 varsity letters in golf, baseball, and baseball. Accepting his award tonight is his wife, Carrie. Scott was a 4-year letter winner on the Red Raider golf team. He qualified for the Section 5 tournament 3 of his 4 seasons and was the team's MVP his senior year. In the spring, Scott was an infielder and pitcher on the HHS baseball team. His senior year, he had a 1.17 ERA on the mound, and on offense led the Raiders in hits, triples, and home runs, while batting an amazing .417. He was named the team's MVP that year. Scott had an outstanding career at Mansfield University. As a senior, he set school records for starts, 12, wins, 9, complete games, 10, and innings pitched, 82.1. He was named the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference All-Star and was a draft choice of the Cincinnati Reds. In his 40 professional years of baseball, in his career in A and AAA ball for the Reds, he compiled a 36-20 record with an ERA of 2.81. With a bachelor's degree in science from Mansfield, Scott went on to earn 2 master's degrees after baseball, one in classroom technology from Wilkes University, and the other in educational administration from the University of Scranton. He taught chemistry and coached baseball at Woodlawn High School and was the superintendent of schools for the Lakeland School District before his passing. Scott married his college sweetheart Karen, and they have 2 daughters, Dr. Marina Jeffrey and Janelle. Scott's untimely passing was on July 7, 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, our first inductee, Scott Jeffrey. Kelly McMorty-Argentieri is a 1989 graduate of Hornell High School and earned 6 varsity letters in soccer and softball. Kelly was a 2-year starter and team leader for the Lady Raiders soccer team, earning a varsity letter each season. As a 4-year starter, Kelly was a dominant pitcher on the softball mound for the Lady Raiders, tossing several no-hitters and shutouts during her career. Under the coaching of Bud Burnett and the catching of her father, Bill, Kelly spent countless hours perfecting the windmill windup and was one of the first pitchers in the area to successfully use the technique, now considered the gold standard of softball pitching. Known for her fiercely competitive play, Kelly helped the Lady Raiders earn 2 consecutive Section 5 Class B titles in 1987 and 1988. She was named the Section 5 MVP of the 1987 tournament and recognized with the Sullivan Trail Conference Sportsmanship Award. She was also selected to the Sullivan Trail All-Star teams for junior and senior seasons. Kelly went on to play for Alfred State College for 2 years, pitching every game for the Pioneers in 1991. Her success and talents on the diamond led to a Division I scholarship offer from St. Bonaventure University. Her junior season, Kelly threw 27 complete games, and her senior year was named team captain. That year, she threw an amazing 60-plus games over the fall and spring seasons. Kelly obtained her teaching degree and went on to earn a master's degree in special education, and now teaches at Hornell High School. She remains active in women's softball by coaching and giving private pitching lessons, as well as volunteering her time for the Special Olympics. Kelly resides in North Hornell and has 3 children. Her son Sam, a Lance Corporal, United States Marine Corps, Leah, a senior at Hornell High School, and Ava, a 7th grader. Ladies and gentlemen, our second inductee, Kelly McMorty-Argentieri. Our third inductee this evening, Sherry Rollins-Helmer, is a 1993 graduate of Hornell High School, where she earned a total of 7 varsity letters in basketball and softball. Sherry was a 3-year member of the girls varsity basketball team As a senior, she was selected as a Steuben County All-Star and chosen to play in the exceptional senior game. On the softball field, Sherry was a 4-year starter and the team's MVP her junior and senior seasons. As a pitcher, she led the Lady Raiders to the 1991 and 1993 sectional championships. Her senior year, Sherry had a 15-5 record with a 1.5 ERA. In the 93 sectional tournament, she pitched all 21 innings, surrendering only 1 earned run. She was the Class BB MVP and named to the Sullivan Trail All-Star team. In her career, Sherry had 26 wins, an ERA of 2.26, struck out 164 batters, and had a career batting average of .366. Sherry played softball at Genesee Community College, was named Rookie of the Year her freshman season, and the team MVP her senior year. Sherry resides in Victor with her husband Greg and their 4 boys, Caden, Justin, Kyle, and Jake. She currently serves as a co-chair of the Special Needs Parents Resource Group and is very active in the special needs community. Our third inductee, Sherry Rollins-Helmer. Our fourth inductee tonight, Peter Mankelow, is a 2006 graduate of Hornell High School, where he earned 14 varsity letters in cross country, swimming and diving, and track and field. He was also a member of the National Honor Society, the concert, jazz, and marching bands. In cross country, he was a 2-time Livingston County All-Star, a 2-time league champion runner-up, a 2-time Section 5 championship top 3 finisher, and a 2-time New York State championship medalist, finishing 20th his junior season and 15th his senior year. As a member of the swimming and diving team, he was a perennial top 5 sectional finisher in myriad events. He earned LCAA All-Star Team honors and was named the 2006 LCAA Outstanding Swimmer. And he was a 2-time recipient of Hornell High School's John Skinner Memorial Award. In track and field, he won 6 Section 5 titles, with the 800-meter, 1600-meter, and 3200-meter runs, and as a member of the 3200-meter relay team. Those relay teams went on to finish 4th both years at the New York State Championship, each junior and senior seasons. Also, at the 2006 New York State meet, he took home the 1600-meter Division II championship with a time of 4 minutes 14.55 seconds, which is the current Hornell High School record in the 1600 meters, a time he shares with national champion and fellow Hall of Famer Carl Morrow. At the College of Rockport, he was a member of the cross-country and track and field teams. He earned All-Atlantic Region honors in cross-country, academic All-America honors from 2000 to 2010, was named All-Conference in track, and was the SUNYAC Conference 1500-meter champion. He is also the current school record holder in the 1500-meter and 1-mile runs. He was also awarded SUNY's Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence in Athletics. Excuse me. Sorry, folks, the gloves. Peter graduated summa cum laude in 2010, and while pursuing his master's degree, he was Brockport's head cross-country coach, coaching the school's first female All-American, and served as an assistant track and field coach. He is a direct response copywriter and resides in Brockport with his wife Alicia and their daughter Audrey. Our fourth Hall of Famer tonight, Mr. Pete Mankelow. And our final inductee tonight, Brian Canty, is a 2007 graduate of Hornell High School and earned 10 varsity letters in soccer, basketball, and baseball. On the soccer field, Brian excelled in the goal and as a midfielder. He was a four-time Livingston County Athletic Association All-Star. In 2006, Red Raiders were the Section 5 champions. Brian was named to the LCAA as he was named the LCAA Player of the Year, a Section 5 All-Tournament Team selection, the MVP of the Sectional Championship game, and second team All-New York State. On the court, Brian was the starting point guard on the Red Raider basketball team. He was a three-time Livingston County All-Star, a two-time spectator grade 8 selection, a member of the Section 5 All-Tournament team. He was named to the Democrat and Chronicle All-Greater Rochester team. On the diamond, Brian was the starting shortstop for 3 years and was an LCAA All-Star in 2006. Brian was honored as the Evening Tribune's HHS Male Athlete of the Year and was named Knights of Columbus Sportsman of the Year at their annual banquet. Brian attended St. John Fisher and played soccer and basketball for 4 years. He then graduated from the U.S. Golf Academy and was a golf instructor in the Chicago area for several years. In 2018, Brian joined the United States Army and is currently deployed with the 101st Airborne in Western Iraq. He was recently honored with the United States Army Achievement Medal for exceptional service under combat conditions and will return after a short visit home. Ladies and gentlemen, our favorite inductee is Brian Jordan. Let's hear it again for all 5 outstanding student athletes.
The Hall of Fame Committee, and I'd like to thank you all for being here, honoring all our new inductees this year, this 32nd annual Hall of Fame induction dinner. But before we get going, there's a few acknowledgments I'd like to make, and obviously they're acknowledging the Hall of Fame committee members who help select our inductees every year. And there's a few here, but there's some that couldn't make it. But anyways, Amy McMorty Mayo is on our committee. John Wyan, Richard Head, John Dagan, Kate Gleason Secondo, Mike Davidson, Gene Maston, and Teddy Ormsby. If not for those people, as I said, every year in July we get together for the vote to select this coming year's inductees. So that being said, I'd like to at this time introduce Angela Daniels-Markle, who's our treasurer of our Alumni Association, to say a few words here, if you would.
Thank you and welcome everybody, and congratulations to all our new inductees. Just wanted to go over a couple little things. This past June, the Alumni Association gave out just shy of $132,000 in scholarships. And we can't do that without your help and your donations, so keep sending your money. That's what I just tell people. And the other thing I wanted to discuss was our news journal. We produce a news journal every year, and in order to get the news journal, you have to pay your dues. That's what generates the news journal. So when people say, oh, I don't get one, pay your dues. I tell everybody all the time, pay your dues. $10 if you want to pay your dues. In the center of the book, there's a place to pay your dues. Or you can go online, hornellalumni.org, and online we have to charge you $11 because there's fees. And also, you can do a donation, and there's also another place, Network for Good. You can also do a donation through there. But I just like people to know that when you do a donation through there, it takes probably 3 months before it reaches alumni. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. And our new inductees, you want to get your dues paid because we'll do a nice little spread in the journal for you next year. So you don't want to miss that. So, so that's about all I have to say, and I hope you all enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Angela. That being said, you know, it's the Alumni Association, too, for the past 32 years that has sponsored this event. They're a large contributor in making this event possible. So we really appreciate all the alumni has done for us through the years. At this time, once again, I'd like to introduce John Cardamone, our Hornell High School Athletic Director, to say a few words, if you would.
Good evening, everybody. This is the worst part of my job, but congratulations to all the inductees. It's really nice. I got to see some of you play, but I definitely heard about all of y'all. So, and some of you like helped shape how Hornell goes, and welcome aboard. This year's class will be one of the first classes to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and we're moving to a digital Hall of Fame. So their plaques, right now, we're working with a company out of Rochester who is going to build, and they'll look exactly the same as they do now, but it'll be like a kiosk. So it'll be, you can touch, and you can search by sport, last name, first name. And we're really still kind of just building this any way we want. It'll be located in the main lobby of the high school, right in front of the A gym. It'll probably be about a 72-inch TV surrounded. We really haven't decided that either. So, but it'll look really nice. It'll be a touch kind of thing. It'll be a lot bigger, and it'll be seen by a lot more people. So in years to come, that's what we'll have. So congratulations, everybody.
Thank you, John, for being here. Okay, you know, every year, too, we have a lot of past members in the Hall of Fame that come to honor our new inductees. And I'd like to have any past members of the Hall of Fame that are here in attendance tonight maybe stand up and be recognized as well. There's quite a few. I've seen them, but I'll start naming them off, but I'll probably forget somebody. Richie Head, Todd Ludden, Danny Swartz, Bill McMorty, Amy Mayo McMorty, okay. Samantha Rollins, Greg Helmer, Mr. Jeffrey in the back here. That's another one. Yes, okay. Leonard Caruso. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us. Okay, at this time I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies tonight, Mr. Leonard Caruso, who's going to be taking over from this point, but thank you once again for being in attendance. Leonard.
Thank you, Tom. It's really a privilege and an honor to be here tonight. I am the third string. I was chosen third out of two others, so I'll try to do the best I can. But again, there's only one of the inductees that I really never got a chance to see perform. But all the rest of them, they were great athletes and a credit to the Hornell community. And I'm honored and privileged to be here tonight. So without further ado, I would ask Deacon Bob to give us the invocation.
Thank you, Lenny. It's an honor to be here and a privilege to give the invocation for the inductees today. Congratulations to all of you. Let us pray. Lord of all that is good and gracious, creator of the universe and all that is good, author of all life. We gather here this evening as men and women who strive to do your work as good people, and we give you thanks for many things today. We thank you and ask your blessing upon these men and women who represent the Hornell High School Sports Hall of Fame and all the values and good sportsmanship that has ensued over the many years. We thank you and ask your blessing upon those responsible here tonight for bringing into fruition the plans and the work and the efforts of those who have worked diligently to make this program a success over so many years. We thank you and ask your blessing upon our families, our loved ones, our honored guests, and all those gathered here this evening. We thank you and ask your blessing upon this community, our homes, our hospitals, our schools, our places of worship, our industries, our transportation, our infrastructures, and our places of recreation and social gathering. We thank you and ask your blessing upon the people of this community, those who administer laws, those who work in labor, those who are retired, those who teach, those who farm the land and harvest the produce, those who care for others, and all those in need of God's healing hand. God bless this food and drink which we are about to partake, and those who prepared it. And finally, Lord, God bless America. May freedom always ring from every town, village, and city of this great nation. In spite of our differences, may we always find peace. May God bless you, and may his angels be with you. Amen.
Thank you so much, Bob. We'll proceed now with our dinner, and then beyond that, we'll be introducing the inductees accordingly. Thank you. I believe the head table starts first, so we can start anytime.
Okay, we're going to get started here. And first of all, knowing that this is on Push TV and that he's already informed my daughter that this was going to be live, I'd be remiss if I didn't say hello to my daughter Kristen and my grandsons Andrew and Graham. Am I standing up straight, boys? And my son-in-law Alex. So again, I hope we wish you were here. So to get started, and also when I walked in here tonight, you know, when I left the house, I was in a hurry and I tied my tie and it was a little short. It was a little short, and I said, oh, geez. I said, I want to get it down there a little bit. But anyway, I said, somebody's going to say something to me. No sooner I walked through the door, and my fashion designer, Bob McIntyre, said, you know, the tie's supposed to be below the belt. Well, I went into the bathroom, Mac, and it's down below the belt, and I think it's good. All right. Okay. You know, to be in the presence of these outstanding athletes, they're not only outstanding athletes, they're outstanding people. And as I was reading over the bios, I knew most of the information. Kelly and Sherry and Scott Jeffries, of course, who played for me, so I knew what they were like and what they, how they performed, but I wasn't aware of Peter Mankelo, and again, reading his bio was unbelievable. But I realized that as a coach, that you're always trying to instill the proper attitude to the kids and teach them life lessons. Well, the people who coach these individuals did a fine job. They really did. They're great, outstanding people. The first inductee tonight is Brian Candy. Now, Brian couldn't be here with us tonight. He's at a wedding with his family. He's attending a wedding for a good friend, Tim McHale. And so, Brian, we surely miss you. But again, I never had the pleasure of coaching Brian, but I watched him play. And I did have the opportunity to coach his dad. And so I can see how he progressed. His father was a very good player and a good athlete, and Brian followed right along suit. But Brian Caney was a 2007 graduate of Hornell High School, where he earned a total of 10 varsity letters in soccer, basketball, and baseball. On the soccer field, Brian excelled both in the goal and as a midfielder. He was a 4-time Livingston County Athletic Association All-Star, and in 2006, Brian was selected as the Livingston County Player of the Year. He was also second-team All-New York State soccer selection in 2006. Brian led the Raiders to the 2006 Section 5 championship and was both an all-tournament selection and the championship game's most valuable player. In the winter, Brian was a point guard for the Red Raider basketball team. He was a 3-time Livingston County All-Star and a 2-time Evening Tribune Greater 8 selection. As a senior, Brian was named to the Democrat and Chronicle All-Greater Rochester basketball team. He was also named to the Section 5 Class Double B sectional all-tournament team. Brian was a 3-year shortstop on the Hornell High School varsity baseball team and was selected as the Livingston County All-Star in 2006. At the conclusion of his senior year, Brian was honored as the recipient of the Evening Tribune Award as the top male senior athlete at Hornell High School. The KSC also named Brian as its Sportsman of the Year. Brian graduated from St. John Fisher College, where he played soccer for 4 years and basketball for 2. Brian also graduated from the United States USGA Golf Association in Hilton Head and worked as a golf instructor at a golf course in the Chicago area. In 2018, Brian joined the United States Army and is currently deployed with the 101st Airborne in Western Iraq. Congratulations to Brian Canny, and I think Bobby Peischer has a video of Brian giving his acceptance speech.
My name is Brian Caney, class of 2007. What a great honor it is to receive this award. Congratulations to all the other athletes who have received this award. I'd like to thank the Hornell High School Hall of Fame Committee, my teammates, my coaches, my family, Denny and Eileen. Thank you for all you did for us. It's such an honor to be from Hornell, joining the military and then coming back to the hometown and seeing everyone that I grew up with, played sports with, soccer, basketball, baseball. It's really fun just to come back and see everyone talk about old memories, like I'm sure you guys are doing. I wish I was there to join you. Like I said, thanks again for all my coaches that I grew up learning from them, learning responsibility, being a good teammate, being a part of a team, which carries with you throughout your life, and I feel like that's very important, and sports in high school and college taught me a lot of that, so thanks again for all my coaches and teammates and the leadership that I grew up with. I also like to thank my wife, Chrissy Canty. She's been a great support the last couple of years, so thank you very much. You've done a lot for me and changed me as a person for the better, so thank you. Also, Johnny Carbone, huge shout out to you. You've been a huge inspiration, a great godfather, so thank you. Wish I was there to enjoy some of your dinner tonight. Also, Bob Peischer and Larry Vetter for teaching youth basketball. They did a great job with all of us young guys. I know we were pretty wild at times, but they did a great job containing us, keeping us focused, and making us want to play basketball, which I think is the biggest thing. Also, Jim Tobin, the entire soccer staff, thank you. You guys have been awesome. You've done so much for the program itself. Can't wait to go out and have a beer with you. And remember this, once a Raider, always a Raider.
Very nice. Thank you, Bob. The next inductee is Kelly McMorty Argentieri. Now, I watched Kelly from the time she was a young girl in Cinderella softball, and her parents, Linda and Bill, were so instrumental in forming their daughter's talents and skills, and they used to coach Cinderella softball. And my daughter played along with Kelly in those younger years. And as I watched Kelly perform and grow, there was a tenacity about this young lady that I couldn't, you couldn't put your finger on. Some people who watched you, Kelly, thought, oh, she's cocky, or she does this or that, she's arrogant. But I want to tell you something from a coach's perspective. That's personality is what made you who you were. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't be the pitcher that you were. So Kelly Argentieri graduated in 1989 from Hornell High School, where she earned a total of 6 varsity letters in soccer and softball. Kelly was a dominant pitcher for the Lady Red Raiders softball team for 4 years. With the help of the pitching coach, Bud Burdett, and her parents, and countless hours of catching by her father, Kelly was one of the first pitchers in the area to use the windmill for pitching. She was the fierce competitor who helped the Raiders win Section 5 Class B championships in 1987 and 1988. She was selected as the Section 5 Class B Most Valuable Player in 1987, and during her high school career, Kelly pitched 7 shutouts and a multiple no-hitters. She was also selected as a Sullivan Trail All-Star multiple times. After high school, Kelly went on to play softball for the Alfred State Pioneers for 2 years. She pitched in every game for the Pioneers in 1981. Kelly's success at Alfred State earned her a scholarship to Division I St. Bonaventure University. During her junior season at St. Bonaventure, Kelly threw 27 complete games. As a senior, she was a team captain and pitcher and pitched in more than 60 games throughout the fall and spring seasons. Kelly earned her master's degree in special education and teaches special education at Hornell High School. She has 3 children and resides in North Hornell. Kelly remains active in women's softball, coaching and giving private pitching lessons in the area. She has also donated much of her time as a volunteer for the Special Olympics. I present to you Kelly McMorty, Argentieri.
Cocky? Not me. I would like to start off by telling you all how honored I am to be chosen as a new inductee to the Hornell High School Hall of Fame. All members possess the love for their game, demonstrated extraordinary talents, and that deep-seated competitive drive. As athletes, we all have that special group of friends and family that were there every step of the way along our athletic journeys. My father, Bill, and my mother, Linda, were hands down my biggest supporters from my very first pitch as a 9-year-old firefighter, playing Cinderella softball to my last pitch thrown as a Bonnie. My mother passed away a year and a half ago, but I know without a doubt that she is smiling down on me with pride. My father would sit on his personalized cushioned 5-gallon bucket for countless hours, catching all of my wild pitches. I can't even count the amount of balls that he chased or how many dents I put in that garden house, as it was my backstop if the ball got past my father. My mom would often come out and chase balls to give my father a break. They both coached me and were major players in developing the Cinderella Softball League in Hornell. They purchased a conversion van so that my sister and I, as we began traveling to play out of town, they could follow us all over. So many meals were eaten out of a cooler as we traveled all over playing. Mom always had the best snacks for all of us, and when I finally decided to concentrate and commit to the position of pitching, my father found me, in my opinion, a true legend in the fast-pitch softball in our area, Mr. Bud Burdett Sr. How lucky was I to learn from someone who competed against the king in his court at Maple City Park. Bud remained one of my biggest fans and motivators all the way through college. I would like to thank my high school coach, Marcia Santelli, who could not be here tonight, as well as my dear friends and teammates, Dawn Reinhardt and Jen Prevost, who always had my back on the diamond. My college coaches are here this evening from Alfred State, as well as St. Bonaventure. Rick Mitchell and his wife, Jessica, in the back, and Mike Threehouse and his beautiful wife, Liz, in the front here. All these years, you remain in a special part of my life and help me build my fond memories of college softball. I am so pleased that my sister Amy, my brother Bill, my daughters Leah and Ava could be here tonight to share in this moment. I love you all and thank you for being here for me. My son Sam was unable to be here as he is currently involved in training with the Marine Corps. In closing, I am so happy to join my grandfather, my father, my sister, as well as many friends as a member of this Hall of Fame. Thank you to all my family and friends for coming here tonight, and hope you have your evening, a wonderful evening. And Brian stole my line, once a Raider, always a Raider.
The next inductee, Sherry, you had no choice to be a great athlete. With your brothers and your sister, you had to accomplish a lot, and you did. I had the honor of coaching Doug Rollins. I didn't have the honor of coaching the other Rollinses, but they were pretty good players too. And Sherry follows right along suit. Sherry, I know you were going to say something about your grandmother, but I was talking to your husband, and I just couldn't help but think of all the games that I attended in softball or whatever the sport was that those kids were playing in, and she was there, and she was the greatest supporter for those kids and for the town of Hornell. So again, hoping your grandmother's doing well. Sherry Rollins graduated in 1993, where she earned a total of 7 varsity letters in basketball and softball. Sherry will be most remembered for her amazing accomplishments on the softball field. She was a 4-year varsity starter and as a pitcher led the Lady Raiders to the sectional championships in 1991 and 1993. As a senior, Sherry finished the season with a 15-5 record and an earned run average of 1.85. During sectionals that year, Sherry pitched all 21 innings for the high school and only gave up 1 earned run as the Raiders were crowned sectional champions. She was named Section 5 Class B Most Valuable Player. She was also named to the Sullivan Trail All-Star Team in 1993. In her Hornell High School career, Sherry had 26 wins as a pitcher with an overall earned run average of 2.26. She also struck out 164 batters. Sherry had a career batting average of 366. She was named Most Valuable Player of the Raiders softball team in 1992 and 1993. Sherry was a 3-year member of the Hornell High School varsity basketball team, and as a senior, she was selected as a Steuben County League All-Star and was chosen to participate in the Exceptional Seniors game. After high school, Sherry played softball at Genesee Community College, and as a freshman, she was named Rookie of the Year and finished the season with a 6-0 record on the mound and a 1.06 earned run average. Her senior year, Sherry was named the team's most valuable player. Sherry currently resides in Victor, New York with her husband Greg and their 4 boys, Caden, Justin, Kyle, and Jake. She is very active in the special needs community and is a co-chair of the Special Needs Parent Resource Group. I present to you Sherry Rollins Helmer. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Deep breath, they tell me, right? Whew. Mr. Caruso, I think that it's ironic that tonight you're emceeing because I remember you always hunting down me and my husband in the high school hallways, making sure that there was no little kiss before getting down to class. There is no time for that. Get to class. Anyway, good evening, everyone. I'll try to get through this without crying or racing to the end. There's no race, but I tend to get anxious. And first, I would like to congratulate my fellow inductees and say thank you to the Hornell Alumni Association for voting me into the class of 2019 Hall of Fame. It's a great honor to be included with this great class of athletes. It's also very special to me as I get to join this group that already includes my husband and my sister. If anyone knows me, I'm typically not thrilled about speaking to an audience unless it pertains to my kids or my family. However, while I was trying to take a moment of my own life and reflect on all of this, I realized that my reality is just that. I have a loving family. I have a loving immediate family and an extended family and a way extended family. My parents played sports and encouraged me and my 3 siblings to play and do our best. They missed work, came to all the games, and many times put in as much time and effort as I felt I did. I am the oldest of 4. That is not a simple task. I moved on and married my high school sweetheart, which was really no surprise, but is very unique now in the way that after all these years, we talk about our past and he was right there with me. We together are raising 4 terrific boys, and my job the last 17 years has been just that. I am very grateful and lucky to have that job and I am proud to be their mom. My siblings, all supportive, were dragged to all of my events, and over the years I have tried to reciprocate with not a have to, but a true interest. There is quite an age gap between us all, and somehow we make it work and still do. High school sports, wow, where do I begin now? I say that sports and family are very similar. It's about the relationships and being together, being successful, learning to win and lose, and being competitive and trying to be good people on and off the field. Basketball. I did enjoy basketball, I really did. A lot of my inner circle of friends played, and it was for sure a conditioning path to softball season. I remember my junior year having shin splints so bad that I could barely walk, and dreading those awful miles to warm up, and sprints that I swore would never make me walk again. It also meant playing for Miss Natitis, who supported us not only to help us be properly conditioned, but to be competitive, and she always displayed what it was like to be good people on and off the court. Softball was no question the best time of the year for me. After all the practice in the gym, I couldn't wait for the weather to break and get out on the field. Playing on varsity as a freshman not only allowed me to play at the varsity level, but also to play competitive ball with so many great players and friends. To name one, Linda Peterson was the Lady Raider hurler when I joined the team. I was happy to support where I could, but as a sophomore, I had the opportunity to watch her from shortstop. And what a run that we had. We won the Class BB sectional title in '91. My junior year was a turn to get into the circle of my own, and we didn't turn out where we wanted to be, but we finished 11-9. We had a very strong team, but didn't meet the goals we had expected. But certainly we laid a foundation for the year of 1993. My senior year was amazing in so many ways, but it didn't come without a lot of hard work. A few quick highlights. During the season, I competed against my longtime friend Stacy Amphlett in the Hilton Classic Tourney, bringing home Outstanding Pitcher Award. I still stay in contact with her, and she continues to be a role model for hard work and perseverance. In the middle of the season and at the end of a solid week, on a 90-degree day, it was our 5th consecutive game. It was a Friday, and we went to Corning, and I threw my first no-hitter. It was probably the only time that none of my family ever came to my game. Not one. I remember clear as day. We had no cell phones then. I was in Corning, and I had to ride the bus all the way home saying, I cannot believe this. I walked in the house, and my dad said, how was the game? And I said, I threw a no-hitter. And he said, are you beep kidding me? Needless to say, we were very excited, but I'm not really sure that my dad is over that day yet. Late during the season, I was targeted as a crow hopper from area coaches, and they were all quick to want the umpires to call that on me. Going into sectionals, the work began. We were playing really well, and sectionals were in sight. We had to make sure that this crow hop was not going to dictate my path. Coach Santelli, my dad, Mr. Glover worked countless hours in perfecting my delivery. After 3 sectional games and 21 innings pitched while only allowing 1 earned run, a championship game which was played on senior prom day, we won the Section 5 Class Double B championship. The feeling of that memory in my mind is like it happened yesterday. Not only did we just win sectionals, after a tough game, I was chosen to the Class Double B Section 5 MVP, and I couldn't wait to see my dad as he picked me up off the ground with an embrace. It was over. No better way to end my high school career. Over the past month or so, the news of this honor, it's given me an opportunity to reflect on some very special people in my life. Although she's not here today, I would like to recognize Marcia Santelli for someone who made a huge difference to me. As we all know, Marcia has a certain way about her. She was a constructive yeller. The skies were always falling. Talking and yelling faster and faster, the more intense the situation got. Her hands on top of her head looking like every play was a life or death moment. And us reassuring her that we got this, coach. Marcia is a wonderful woman and a great coach, and I am honored to be able to play for her, and I'm glad that we still are able to connect at times. I would also like to recognize my Grandma Hawkins, who couldn't be here tonight. She's always our biggest fan. Always showing up to games, driving on sidewalks, beeping her horn, waving her pom-poms, and being the world's best cheerleader. I would like to wrap up with a special thanks to my parents. For those of you who have met them, you know that my mom is always a glass half full person. Also so supportive and positive. Regardless of how good or bad I played, we could have lost by 10 and she would tell me that we played great. She maintains the same level of excitement, more now that she is a grandma. And on to my dad. Well, he was the polar opposite of my mom. Always honest, tough, and pushing me to do better. He coached me from the time I picked up a ball. Our path was always winding, and he managed to still continue to coach me through those very fun teenage years. Despite all the yelling, tears, laughs, and hard work, he cared about me doing my best. Thanks to the both of you. I love you so much. Sorry. And to my boys, maybe now you can see the pattern where my past has affected my future, and that it's okay to be over-passionate about something or everything. You can yell constructively, you can love what you do, and you can fight for what you believe in, even if someone doesn't agree. To my husband, most people say we're in chaos. We call it family. Love you. In conclusion, I'm honored for this recognition and grateful for all of you who have put the effort in to make this wonderful event happen, and congratulations again to my fellow inductees.
Sherry, I think you took my papers, but that's okay.
I'm done. You can tell you.
The next individual, when I was looking through the bio, I don't know Peter Mankelo, but after meeting him last night, talking to him today, I realized what a dedicated and fine athlete this young man is. And when I was reading the bio, I came across the name of Karl Morrow, and his name was mentioned in the same light as Karl Morrow. Now, for those of you who don't know Karl Morrow, he was a state champion. Is that right, Tom? I don't. National champion. But Karl Morrow lived on Elmwood Place, right down the street from here. He lived right across the street from me. Now, I was always an early riser. I'd be up about 4:30, 5 o'clock, getting ready to go to school. And I'd be in the bathroom getting ready, and I'd look out the bathroom window, and every day at about 5 o'clock, here comes Karl Morrow out of the house, and there he goes on his jog. I don't know where he was going, but he was going someplace. He was working out. And then about 6:30, here he comes. There's Karl. And this was every single day. So if Pete is mentioned in this young man's name, he's got to be a very, very special person. Peter Mankelo graduated in the class of 2006, lettered 14 times in cross country, swimming, diving, and track and field. He was also a member of the National Honor Society, concert, jazz, and marching bands. In cross country, Pete earned Livingston County League All-Star honors twice, finishing second in back-to-back league championships. He placed third 2 years in a row at the Section 5 championship meet and was a two-time New York State champion medalist, finishing 20th at the New York State Class B championship in 2004 and 15th in 2005. As a member of the swimming and diving team, Peter placed in the top 5 9 times in multiple events at the Section 5 Championship. He earned Livingston County All-Star Team honors, received the 2006 Livingston County Outstanding Senior Award, and was a 2-time recipient of the John Skinner Memorial Award. He was also awarded the James Dagan Memorial and Robert Bossard Helping Hand Award. Pete won 6 Section 5 outdoor track and field titles in the 1600 run, 18-meter run, 3200-meter run, and the 3200-meter relay. He was a member of the 3200-meter relay teams that placed 4th at the New York State Championship meet in 2005 and 6. In 2006, Pete was the Division II New York State champion in the 1600-meter run. To date, he is one of 3 state champions in program history. He currently shares the school record in the 1600-meter run with national champion Carl Morrow, set at 4 minutes and 14 seconds. After graduating from Hornell High School, Pete was a member of the cross-country team and field at the College of Brockport, where he earned all Atlantic Region honors in cross-country. He was an academic All-American honors for the 2007 through 10 seasons, all conference recognition in track and field, and an individual at the State University of New York Conference Championship in the 1500-meter run. I'm losing my breath here, but that's all right. Yeah, I come up for a second wind. Peter was also awarded the State University Chancellor Award for Student Excellence in Athletics. He is the current Brockport record holder in the 1-mile run and 1500-meter run. He graduated summa cum laude from Brockport in 2010 and received the School of Arts, Humanities, and Social Science Outstanding Student Award. While pursuing his master's degree, Pete was the head cross-country coach and assistant track and field coach at the College of Brockport. He coached the program's first female All-American in cross-country, multiple conference championships, and school record holder. Pete works as the direct resource copywriter and resides in Brockport with his wife, Alicia, and their daughter, Audrey. It is an honor for me to present Peter Mankelo.
That's a lot of stuff. Thanks, Mr. Crusoe. I didn't really prepare anything, but I had some great English teachers, so I hope I do all right. They're hanging out over there, also cross-country track and field coaches. I want to thank the Alumni Association, the Hall of Fame Committee, and everybody who puts this on. It's obviously a great honor to be recognized and to be recognized with so many other people who are in the Hall of Fame. It's really a great, it's a great honor. There are lots of people in the Sports Hall of Fame who I looked up to as an athlete, and you know, contributors, athletes who I still look up to. But I think you guys all do something bigger, and I'm going to tell a little bit of a story, which I think segues with what you were saying, Mr. Crusoe. In 2005, I was in the marching band, and we were forced, everybody was forced to do marching band. So we had to stand out on the field behind the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, just like happened last night. And in 2005, Carl Morrow was being inducted into the Hall of Fame. In class of 1995, he was the 2-mile national champion. And I remember standing out there and thinking about it. And the thing you have to know about going to Hornell High School and running track and field is we mythologized Carl Morrow. He was the guy, right? You wanted to kick with 300 meters to go like Carl Morrow. And I tell you, we heard stories from Coach Fagnan about Carl Morrow running against James Matthias from Corning in 1994 in the 4x800 meters in the state qualifier meet or something like that. It was Joe Matthias, right? He was from Newark? Joe Matthias from Newark, all right? So I was like, 15, so the details are spotty, right? But we would dream about kicking like him, and we had this videotape, which I think you made. of Carl winning the national championship. And we would sneak down to Coach DeMarco's room like before lunch, after lunch, during his prep periods, before practice, and we would watch this. And I mean, it was really just me and Brandon Pyre, right? And Brandon was Carl's cousin, so like, does that count, right? But we would watch this, all right? So this is zoomed in, right, this video, because Coach is real excited that Carl's at the national championship meet. That's a great honor for anybody. I coached athletes. It's incredible. And it's zoomed in, so you can't see the context, right? And there's lap traffic. We would fast forward this video to 8 minutes in. It's about a 9-minute race. We would fast forward it just to see this 300-meter kick, right? All sorts of lap traffic. He's back like 7, 8 places. He gets to 300 meters to go. He does his thing. The best part about this video is he comes around the last 2 laps. We'd watch this over and over again. I'm so excited about it still, right? He would raise his arms at the finish, and you know what? There was no reaction from the coaches because they didn't realize he had won. Exactly. At first he didn't, because he was zoomed in, right? You're real excited. You're just focused on him. The camera's real zoomed in. They didn't realize he won. And then it gets to it, and we would watch this over and over again. It gets to it, and you could hear the emotion in their voices. You could hear it happening, right? They're like, oh my gosh, a kid from Hornell just won the national championship. He was the best there is. And so in 2005, I stood out there and I watched Carl be inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame, and he wasn't even there. He didn't show up, right? He wasn't even there. But I was thinking to myself, you know, if a kid from Hornell can be the best there is in the country at something, right? Anybody can do it right from here, right? And I think I just want to thank everybody that puts this on. Because, I mean, that's what it meant to me as an athlete, right? I mean, so it's a great honor to be part of this. I want to thank my parents, which, you know, they played a bigger role in my success than anybody else, but the funny part is we never talked about track, we never talked about cross country, we never talked about swimming. I don't even think I had a conversation with them about training, except for the weird stuff that runners do, like, hey Mom, I need like 3 bags of ice so that I can sit in an ice bath and get hypothermia for 20 minutes because I heard it's going to help me recover faster, right? Things like that. I told this story earlier, but not a lot of people know it. When it was like 1999, 2000, I wanted to be like Lance Armstrong. So I told my dad I needed a racing bike, and he went out and he bought it. And then when you're 12 years old or 13 years old, and like the Geneva Bicycling Club says, you know, you say to them, hey, my kid wants to do a 80-mile race with you guys. And they say, wait, your kid's 12 years old, you've got to come with him, and your dad doesn't ride bikes? Well, he came. And he rode behind those races at like 17, 18, 19 miles an hour in his car for 6 or 7 hours a day on Saturdays to follow us, right? I used to go out and I used to ride my bike like crazy distances, and my mom, she didn't even know where I was, right? And I would come home, I probably gave her a heart attack. Not to mention, like, I have enough track spikes and running shoes in my closet at home so I could still outfit like the entire Hornell track and cross country team like 4 or 5 times over. It's absolutely crazy. So I want to thank them. But what they did is they never pushed me. They let me figure it out for myself. And for that, I'm really appreciative, because I think to be successful, it really takes an internal drive that, you know, you can't coach it. It's really hard. And I've seen parents screw it up, and man, they didn't. And I'm thankful for that. What's funny is I was probably not supposed to be an athlete. It's not because I didn't throw the ball with my dad, or I didn't play touch football or wiffle ball with the kids across the street. I wasn't good at any of those things, right? So you run cross country, you run track. But the way it happens, here's how it happens. Coach Andy Smelinich, the swim coach, Coach Don Spittler, the women's swim coach, in 5th grade, the way they recruit their teams is they come in the cafeteria during 5th grade. You remember? I remember this like it's yesterday, right? And here's what they do. They give a pitch and they say, hey, we need people to sign up for the swim team. You want to do it, right? And I wish I could package up what they said 100%, because they must have had the most inspirational speech in the world. Because I tell you what, Marcia Santelli, she was my phys ed teacher. I could not pass the swim test to swim in the deep end of the swimming pool. You had had to swim from one side of the pool, the width of the pool, not even the length, to the other, so that you could swim in the deep end during phys ed class in 5th grade. I couldn't pass that test. Marcia Santilli, Mrs. Santilli, she'd yell at me all day long. I couldn't do it, right? So I couldn't swim, and whatever they said, that got me to sign up for the swim team. I don't know what it was, but I want it, right? I want to sell it. I want to put it into a book. It's the next New York Times bestseller. I tell you, it's crazy. But Coach Smelinich and all the swim coaches, they taught me more than how to swim. And I don't even think they knew I didn't know how to swim when I came out for the team. They brought the varsity swimmers to the modified swim team to teach you how to do the breaststroke, how to do the butterfly, all those things that are difficult, right? It turned out I was pretty good at it, but they taught me how to do more than that. They taught me how to be part of a team. They taught me how to take what little things you have, because we didn't have a great swim team. Hornell is not known for having an exceptional, like 85-person swim team like HFL, right? We had 14 or 15, less than 20 swimmers most years I swam, and we were talented, but we were not the most talented. And they taught us, Coach Smelinich taught us how to take what little things we had and to make the most out of them. There was one time where HFL showed up to our pool in the intermediate school with 50 kids, and they swim all year round. They're great. That's their entire life. They go to swim camp. They swim 12 months a year. Their parents swam. Their parents swam. All their brothers swim. They're really good, right? And they had more depth than us. They had more talent than us. But what Coach Smelinich had done is he had gone to all, like, the newspapers, the Buffalo News, the Livingston County News, the Steuben Courier, every little newspaper you could find. He clipped out all the times. He knew statistically what swimmers HFL had, the likelihood that they were going to be in these events, what swimmers we had, which events we had to swim to beat them. And we made the lineup on the fly. And he's like, look, guys, we might have to make some sacrifices of the team. You might have to swim some events you don't want to swim, but we're going to beat them. And we did. And we shouldn't have, right? And we did it multiple times because we used great strategy. We took the best of what we had. And he taught me how to do that, and I still use that like every day in my job. It's great. So I'm really appreciative of that. I had some great track and field and cross country coaches. They're over here. And all the alumni, Coach Degg, Coach DeMarco, Coach Fagnan, Coach Rosica, who unfortunately isn't here anymore. I remember all of them giving me exceptional advice, great advice. And all the teams that you built and the people that came back. Todd came back. Todd Ludden, he came back and he ran with me over the summer. He was a college athlete at the time. He graduated in 1999, and I was running in 2003, 2004, 2005. He came back and he ran with me in the summer, and other college athletes did. He introduced me to other people. That's a testament to the teams that they built. Coach DeMarco, he taught me when I was running cross country that the barrier of what you can do, it's in your mind, right? Your body is going to give out long after your mind gives out, or long after your mind gives out, right? And that's a hard lesson to teach, right? That your physical limitations are nothing compared to what your mental limitations are. I've tried to teach it to athletes. I coached for a while. It's a hard thing to do. It takes dedication. There was one time, there are a lot of little lessons that add up. There was one time when I remember I was running with Coach DeMarco, and Carrie O'Connor. I wanted to be just like Carrie O'Connor when I first joined the cross-country team. I wanted to grow my hair out long. I wanted to be cool, right? I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to have a big muff. I wanted to be in a band. A big muff's the name of a distortion pedal. It makes that real fuzzy sound that sounds like the Strokes. I wanted to be in a band like Carrie O'Connor. I wanted to run like him. And we were all running together, and he said to me afterwards, I was doubting myself, and he said, you know what? If you can keep up with me and you can carry on a conversation like we're having now, you're going to be fine on Saturday. You're gonna beat everybody. I don't know if you remember that. You probably don't. You probably say that to everybody, right? But that's just, it's a lot of little lessons like that that gradually taught me that. And I'm really, and you taught us how to have fun too. I'm really appreciative of it. Better person because of it. Coach Degg, I ate up so much of his time. I remember when I was a junior and senior, I used to hang out in his room. We would talk about training. We would talk about what meets were coming up, what I was going to run, what my goals were. It was crazy how much of his time I ate up, and he was supposed to be focusing on teaching. So I know that's all work that he took home, but I'm appreciative of that. But there's one thing that I remember specifically. Lots of things I remember specifically. I have a lot of stories I could tell. I could stand up here for another 20 minutes, but I won't do it. It was 2004, and it was the first time that I had won sectionals as a member of a team. And it's a great thing to do, great feeling. We were at Wayland Cohocton, and we had an awesome team. We swept the 400 meters, and sweeping the 400 meters means you score all the points, and places 1 through 8 score. So picture Hornell finishing in the top 8 places at a track meet where there are, I don't know, 10 other teams there? 16? That's what we did. So there's lots of people scoring. Well, I ran the 3,200 meters that day, and I scored about 3 points. So we scored like 150 odd points. I don't know the exact score. Don't remember, but I scored about 3 of them, so a small percentage. And after the meet, he was handing out these sectional patches, white sectional patches that you put on your letter jacket that say, hey, you're a champion, everybody can look at you and how great you are. It feels great to get one of those things, right? I got a whole bunch of them. You know, I ended up with a whole bunch of them, but it's awesome. And he's handing them out, and he hands mine to me, and he says, don't ever forget the amount of work that other people had to do so that you could have this. And he handed it to me, and I remember that. It was 2004, we were on the bus, and you said that to me. And I never forgot that. Never forgot it. Still remember it, like clear as yesterday. But there's a whole bunch of lessons just like that these guys taught me, carry them with me every day. And so many people that I haven't mentioned, right? All from the athletics department. So I appreciate everybody being here, and thank you. It means a lot to me. Thanks, guys.
The last individual that we're going to induct into this year's Hall of Fame is a young man that I had the honor and the pleasure of coaching for 4 years in the Hornell High School baseball program. When Scott Jeffries came out for baseball as a freshman, he was about 5'2", he weighed about 95 pounds, and you know, he was the most happy-go-lucky kid I think I ever met at the time. And you know, you really didn't know, he didn't have a lot of talent, but he had a lot of heart, and he seemed like he really wanted to get better. So we gave Scott a chance. Well, his sophomore year, he progressed a little bit more. And then as a junior, he came up to the varsity and played on the varsity. And Scott was an infielder, pretty good hitter. Boy, he really developed. He really worked hard to become a good hitter. Now he's probably almost 6 foot now as a junior. He really grew. And his senior year, he did something that, again, I coached for 28 years. There were only 4 young men who ever hit 400 for me. Now, there are a lot of critics out there that said it was my hitting techniques, but it had to do a little bit with talent too. But that's not the thing I want to talk about with Scott. One day, if you ever played baseball, it's very hard, it's very difficult to get everybody working on their skills. Infielders working on ground balls, outfielders catching fly balls, pitchers throwing batting practice. So we were practicing this one day, and I threw batting practice, and my arm gave out. So I said to one of the other players, I said, can somebody come in here and finish batting practice? Well, I had a couple of guys come in there, and they couldn't get the ball over the plate. They were bouncing this 50 feet fastballs. So nobody was getting to hit the ball. Well, I was getting a little frustrated. I don't usually get frustrated, but I was getting a little I was getting a little frustrated. And I said to another kid, come on, you go in there and just throw the ball over the plate. Let him hit the ball, will you? Okay, the next guy come in, he's bouncing him up there, he's throwing him over the backstop. So I finally raised my hands and I said, is there anybody here who can get in there and throw strikes so we can finish practice? All of a sudden I see a hand raised. It's Scott Jeffries. He raises his hand and said, yeah, I can do it. he gets out there, ba-boom, strike one, strike two, strike two. Bing, practice is over within 15 minutes. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So I said to Scott, hey, Scott, if we get in a bind, do you think you can come? Now, he's a senior now. I didn't, you know, boy, I was a really good coach. You know, I really was a good coach. I waited till he was a senior so that I can make him a pitcher. So Scott said, yeah, but we were getting towards the end of the season, and he pitched the last 3 games for us, and he had a 1.71 earned run average those last 3 games. Well, like I say, being the great coach that I was, Scott went on to Mansfield, and he played baseball at Mansfield College, started off as an infielder, and then became a pitcher, and signed a professional contract with the Cincinnati Reds, and played professional baseball for a number of years. Scott was just one wonderful human being. Like I say, he just had that ability about himself. He made everybody kind of feel good and smile and laugh, and I really miss Scott, and I wish he was here today to accept this award. But let me just give you his bio. Scott Jeffries graduated in 1984, where he earned a total of 6 varsity letters in golf, which I hated at the time, and baseball. Scott probably could have been a champion in golf too, if it wasn't for me. Scott was a 4-year letter winner on the Hornell High School golf team. He was also a top 5 scorer for the Raiders and qualified for the Section 5 golf tournament 3 of the 4 years on the team. Scott was selected as the team MVP after his senior year. Scott will be most remembered for his accomplishments on the baseball field throughout high school and beyond. He was an infielder and pitcher for the Raiders. As a senior, Scott had a batting average of .417. Now, the reason that's so amazing because we played in the Sullivan Trail, and the Sullivan Trail was a very, very tough competitive league. There's only 4 players that ever hit 400 in my time coaching, and that was Scott Jeffries, his brother David Jeffries, Joe Morrow, Bob Bird, and Steve Carson. That was it. I'm sure there's others now that hit 400 after I got out of there. But after high school, Scott had an outstanding career as a pitcher and infielder at Mansfield University. As a senior at Mansfield, Scott set school records, pitching records for wins in a season, 9. Complete games, 10. Innings pitched, 82.1. And starts, 12. He was selected as the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference PSAC. He was drafted in the 16th round by the Cincinnati Reds. He played 3 years of A-ball and 1 year of AA ball for the Reds organization. He finished his professional baseball career with an overall record of 36-20 and an earned run average at a professional level of 2.81. That's unbelievable. Scott earned a bachelor's degree in science from Mansfield University and a master's degree in classroom technology from Wilkes University and a master's degree in educational administration from the University of Scranton. He taught chemistry and coached baseball at Woodland High School before becoming superintendent of schools at the Lakeland School District until his untimely death on July 7, 2017. At that time of his death, Scott was married to his college sweetheart, Carrie Wojnowski, that's S-K-Y, and his Winishinsky, S-K-Y. Okay, and his 2 daughters, Dr. Marina Jeffries, 27, and Janelle Jeffries, 15. It is truly an honor for me to be able to present to you Carrie Jeffries, who will accept the award on her brother's behalf. Carrie?
I know if Scott were here, the first thing he would do is congratulate the other inductees and be proud to be in such an elite group and thank the committee for this honor. Additionally, he would thank his wife, Carrie, and his parents for their undying support. And of course, for all of the other coaches and mentors that have led him and impacted him along the way. A special thank you would be, of course, to his high school coach, Leonard Caruso. All of us who played athletics understand the impact coaches have on us, and to quote Scott about Coach Caruso, I just think it's his impact on me that really just guided me down this way of wanting to impact children, the same way he impacted me. I said I wasn't going to cry. Excuse me. In high school, Scott played varsity baseball and golf. And you already heard Mr. Caruso talk about his love for golf. Let me explain the rest. Golf was a fall sport, but sectionals was in the spring. Because we played in the Sullivan Trail Conference, we played golf in the fall, but sectionals was in the spring during baseball season. And some people, my other brother included, who played golf in the spring had to make that choice if they wanted to go to sectionals for golf during baseball season. Scott qualified 3 years in a row, but opted out his junior year, I think to impress his coach. We all like to think that. Because Scott spent most of his life that I recall as an educator, it's easier to forget how amazing a baseball player he was. Scott's baseball career was one that most young kids can only dream about, yet it almost didn't happen. You see, Scott almost didn't play competitive baseball beyond high school. His love of chemistry and playing the trumpet was leading him to a college that didn't even have a baseball program. Thankfully, encouragement from his baseball coach, Mr. Caruso, and our stepfather, he looked at Mansfield University that had all three of his loves: chemistry, band, and baseball. So Scott made the baseball team at Mansfield University as a walk-on, and while playing for the Mounties in his junior year, they learned by happenstance that he was a very gifted pitcher. He was one of the few kids from Hornell High School to play baseball beyond the college level, and in June 1987, in the 16th round, he was drafted by the Cincinnati Reds. He started in Sarasota, Florida in the Gulf Coast League and moved on to single-A ball in Greensboro, North Carolina, where he posted an ERA of 1.3, which earned him a bid to go to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and then on to Double-A ball in Chattanooga, Tennessee. 2 steps from the pros. 2 steps. Things didn't go as he had hoped for his baseball career. However, looking back, he still had some pretty amazing accomplishments. Scott always came back in the fall after baseball season to finish his degree at Mansfield University. So with his teaching degree in hand and his wife by his side, thus was the start of his professional career in education. His leadership qualities, Scott took all of the attributes that he used to be a successful athlete and applied them to his professional career. And his leadership qualities came naturally, along with his desire to inspire young people to set goals, never settle, and work hard. Scott's educational impact has been described by colleagues and former students as dedicated, empowering, and persistent, especially in his support of his staff and his students. He knew that sports was the other half of education. This other half taught him about work ethic and dedication and what it means to set a goal and achieve it. This will always help us excel academically and holds us accountable in the classroom and to commit ourselves to education so we can go out and impact the world. So I leave you with a quote from an article that was published in 2015, only 2 years before his death. And this is Scott's quote. I just really try to spread the message to kids that you can be whatever you want to be. You can be the jock, You can be the band geek, and you can be the geek in the classroom. You can do it all and be successful at it all, because I was living proof of that. Thank you.
Okay, I know everybody wants to get out of here, and I'm sure you're all kind of restless, but that was a fantastic group of individuals that the Hall of Fame committee inducted this year's Hall of Fame. Now, I gotta tell you a little story here, because I never played golf, and I really feel bad. David and Scott, when Scott was a senior, they came to me, David and Scott, and they said, Mr. Crusoe, could we play in the sectionals? This is my last year. And he said, and we promise you we'll be back in time for practice. So I said, okay, all right, go ahead. And so they went, and so 3:30 comes, and we're out there getting ready to practice, and no Scott, no David. What am I going to say to them when they get there? There they come, about 4 o'clock. Here they come with they're running. They don't have their equipment on, and they come over and they tell me that you got in a playoff or something like that, David. Is that what it was? Whatever it was, I didn't care. Start running. So, like I say, David and Scott, I apologize. I wish I would have known what I know today. But I started taking up golf about 2005 or 2007. I hated the game. But all of a sudden I started to like it. And I want to tell you a story about a golf dilemma. Okay? And this golf dilemma that I'm going to talk about is because the people that I play golf with, you can't go out and just play golf. There's got to be money. You got to play for money. All right? So you're always playing for money. So these two guys are playing golf, and they're playing for money. And they get to the last hole, and they're tied. And they both drive, they hit their drives. The first guy hits it right down the center of the fairway. The second guy hits it a little bit to the right towards the woods. So they both go over, and they're trying to find the guy's ball went towards the woods. Now, you only got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes, then you got to go. You got to drop a ball, take a penalty. So the guy who hit the ball towards the woods said to him, well, listen, you go ahead and hit your ball. He said, I'll find it. And he said, if I don't, I'll drop the ball, and I'll be right up there with you. All of a sudden, the first guy goes up there, and he's getting ready to shoot. And all of a sudden, his friend says, hey, I found the ball. And he hits it, and whoop, it's right on the green. Oh, my God, it's almost in the hole. But all of a sudden, the other guy saw the shot, and he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out the first ball that the guy hit because he had picked it up. So the dilemma was, do I tell him that he hit a good shot, or do I tell him I found his ball? Well, that's what golf, I mean, like I say, I do enjoy the aesthetics of golf. I do enjoy playing. I'm not very good at it, but I do enjoy it and the people I play with. I'd like to leave you with this, and if my grandsons are still listening, and my daughter's still listening, and you parents are still listening, I'd like to leave you with this. Your child, success or lack of success in any endeavor, does not indicate what kind of parents you are. But having a child that is coachable, respectful, a great teammate, mentally tough, resilient, and tries their best all the time is a direct relationship of your parenthood. Tommy, thank you for allowing me to be the Master of Ceremonies tonight, and congratulations to all the 2019 inductees.
Thank you so much, Leonard. Thank you so much. He's the best.
Yes. He's the best.
Okay, once again, I'd just like to thank everybody in attendance here tonight supporting the Hall of Fame. And I'd really like to give a big thank you out to John Carbone and his staff for putting on a wonderful meal for us. This is a beautiful facility. Couldn't think of a better place to have this. John does a great job every year, yes. So people, stick around. Don't just take off now if you won't, because we're going to have pictures taken, group pictures, with the inductees, family pics and stuff. So please stick around. This is a great time for renewing old friendships, which is what I really like about this event. And so, like I said, and one last thing is these mums you see on the table here. Feel free to take these too. All right, anybody who would like the flower arrangements on the tables here, you're more than welcome to take them before you leave, okay? So thank you once again for everybody being here and in support, and come back next year. Hopefully we'll have just a good event next year, okay? Thank you so much.